Hey, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Bruce Thompson of Urbaneer.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
It's great to have you
Thank
at
you.
the Smart Kitchen Summit, talking about digital kitchen futures.
That's it. That's
You have
us.
a demo here.
We do.
That's pretty awesome.
It's amazing.
Has to do with these little wireless devices
Yeah.
that power your kitchen devices.
Urbaneer is all about how you make compact spaces live larger.
Okay.
And a big part of that's technology, and we are working to integrate it however we can. And wireless power is what we're showing here. And so we're able to take an appliance that's got the receiver built in and put it onto our movable island that you can put anywhere in the space and deliver power. So you can actually boil water on any surface other than metal.
That's
to wood,
awesome.
to formica, to solid surface, and it just creates amazing flexibility. So if you have a small space,
I was gonna
maybe
say
you
that.
only have 2-burner cooktop in the main part of the kitchen, that island now can serve multiple purposes. You put your phone down, your computer, you know, whatever you want to cook
Yep.
in that space.
Yeah, I was going to say that there's so much talk about real estate and how much you can
Exactly.
afford. And if you have a smaller kitchen, you have basically new room now.
That's it.
New
That's a
room to
great way to
cook.
put it. And think about New York City. It's $6 a square foot to rent.
Oh, yeah.
So every square foot is crazy. So if you can take 50 square feet out of a kitchen, that's 10% of your rent.
Yeah.
Think about it.
That's money.
And it's way beyond even just the wireless power. It gets into everything that we're talking about here. Food delivery.
Yeah.
Why would you store any food in your apartment? You store it in the cloud. On demand.
Just in the
Just
ether.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're a technologist at the company. I heard
am.
that.
So my
Yeah.
background's tech, and I had a chance to live in Europe 20 years ago. I got really fascinated with kind of compact living, walkable living, how people shop for the day. Everything was very fresh.
Oh, right.
The first time we bought a chicken that had feathers on it, I realized that was fresh food.
Oh, that is fresh.
That wouldn't go over so well here, right?
Yeah.
Tyson's, that's here today, nothing Tyson's
Yeah.
great, but you know. Anyways, no. So we had that whole urban experience in Europe, and it just stuck in my head. And that was the whole kind of genesis of the Urbaneer brand.
Right.
We're really trying to create a lifestyle brand around compact living.
Right, and I think that's great. I mean, there's a huge rise in tiny houses. There's a huge rise
absolutely.
in, like, on purpose going to a smaller,
That's
footprint.
right. For the 4th year in a row, houses are getting smaller in the U.S. It's a 60-year reversal. So
Wow.
for 60 years, it was bigger, it was better,
Yeah.
right? Everything the American way. Now it's a reverse.
Yeah.
And I think it's a cultural shift, but it's also driven by, we don't need as much stuff. We have access, right? The phone
Yeah,
is now
everything is
our
there.
access to assets, so we don't need to own as much.
Yep.
Right? We don't own as much stuff. But then also the economics. I mean, in a city like Seattle,
Ugh.
housing, right? Mm-hmm. And so compact living is a way to solve the housing crisis.
Yep.
There's a shortage of 5 million housing units in the U.S. right now. So we need to drive innovation.
Definitely. And that's where innovation comes from, the need for it,
Necessity.
and you have to have it happen. So that's actually a good question I had earlier for you, is this idea that the kitchen, potentially it could get smaller then.
I think we kind of have a model that we talk about. It's really 5 C's. So bear with me for a minute.
Okay.
First, it's compact, right? It's going to get smaller. Like I said, we won't store as much. We don't need as much. Second is going to be configurable. So we're going to be able to personalize it. I think we're going to be able to upgrade it easier.
Yeah.
With all the technology we're seeing here, I think the lifespan of a kitchen in the past has been 15 years. I think it's going to be a lot less, right? Third is it's going to be hyper-connected. It's going to be a series of apps. Mm-hmm. And then we've talked about the cloud, not only for kind of the on-demand capabilities, but I think through the cloud, the kitchen will get to know you. It'll be a personalized experience. And then the fifth is how commerce enabled, how products get into your space. It's going to be hyper-connected to access.
Yep,
right?
and that's part of building this ecosystem.
That's the
that
ecosystem.
Lots of different companies kind of feed into or funnel into.
They do, and we think it really is the true physical-digital convergence, and that's where Urbaneer wants to play. We want to be a leader in that, and I think there's a new model that's emerging, which is really the kitchen as a service.
Yeah, yeah.
And for developers, multifamily developers, property managers, and builders, we want to be almost that kitchen platform that comes in addition to all the other things that we do in a compact living space.
Right. Yeah, and you said it earlier, but this firmware software idea that also just turns everything around on its head, because now you can upgrade stuff and keep the same stuff you had and not have to change your whole kitchen.
And it's been a long time coming. I had a chance 25 years ago to work alongside Vint Cerf, who co-creator of the internet.
Yeah.
He wrote the protocol back when he was in grad school. And he had a mantra back then, IP on everything, which is catchy, right?
That is funny as well.
You know, it's funny. But it was that everything would get connected to the internet. Everything would be a node on the internet someday.
Right.
And here we are.
Here we are. We're in the future.
That's it. We're
Speaking
back
of
to
the future, I heard a rumor about you working on a movable wall.
Yeah.
Is this a thing?
It is. It is.
What is this?
So about 5 years ago, we were playing with wireless power. Literally, we were putting it in the floor, we were putting it in the ceiling and the wall, and just starting to think about flexibility, adaptability of space. And so one of the ideas I came up with is, could we move a wall? I mean, let's go up higher levels, just for a second. Why do we have walls?
Why do we have walls?
Why do we have walls?
Let's get rid of them.
Take down. Well, some people want to put up walls. Other people want to take down walls.
I'm going
We're
to
all
take
the
down
spectrum,
walls.
Right? It's like
Okay.
a mass spectrum. But anyways, we're right down the middle. But if you think about it, we have walls because of privacy, right?
Okay.
And a living space, that's important. We also have walls to deliver infrastructure, water, power, right?
Right.
So when we started to put power in the floor through wireless power, and we could power furniture like the island that I described earlier, move it around, all of a sudden I started thinking, why don't we power a wall through the floor, and maybe it could be movable, so on demand we could go from a dining room to a bedroom. Right, or some other type of living space. And again, when space is expensive, you think about, you know, your activities. You know, you sleep whatever, 8 to 10 hours is ideal. Not all of us do that. But,
I do not do that, but
that'd
continue.
be great, right?
Yes.
That was just dream.
Yeah.
Part of the fun.
Someday.
But so, you know, but why do you have your bed down then all the time? So we have a wall bed that goes up.
Right.
And then you think about dining. That's another part of your living experience that you don't use all the time. And so we have a wall table. So all that works together as a room on demand.
Yeah, I like that.
So we can change it from a bedroom to a dining room and back.
Right. And then, yeah, it changes what you already bought into
does.
something else.
That's it. So that's Urbaneer.
Okay,
That's the
I like
essence
that. Yeah.
of Urbaneer.
That feels good to me.
Yeah.
I like what you're doing. I like what
thank
you all
you.
are making.
But we need to bring it here.
Yeah, I know. And like you said, I've been to Japan, I've been to different parts of Europe, and I've seen that kind of different lifestyle and the way they live.
Yeah.
And I think, like you said, it's on the trend here.
We think,
think so.
it's a once in a century shift. I think about every 80 to 100 years we really kind of reinvent where and how we live.
Right.
And that's what's happening now. And 100 years ago, everybody moved out of cities. So that's when it started.
Right.
Suburbanization. And we had electricity, the automobile, the telephone, all kind of converge at one time to create a new way to live.
Yep.
Now think about everything that's happening that we're talking about. People are moving, on top of that, people moving back into cities. They're going to live in a denser environment. And so that's where now we can be creative. So big,
I like it.
Big opportunity, big challenge. But
Anything new on the horizon that you can talk about that it's coming out soon? Or
Yeah, I think when you think about the kitchen and all the connectivity, it presents new challenges, right? Right now it's a lot of siloed type of devices, so appliances going in, smart appliances, smart devices, and the statistic is that in your home by the year 2020 you'll have 50, on average 50 smart things. So I think, you know, probably 20% of that ends up in the kitchen. What we don't want to do is download 10 apps.
Yes.
And that was a big part of the discussion today in one of the panels, is all those different apps. And I think bringing that together, especially in a rental environment, where people might be there just for one night if it's Airbnb.
Right.
So we have to create kind of a unified interface. But that's a big challenge for the industry because there's not that level of interoperability.
Yeah, I was going to ask that. Like, it seems like that is one of the biggest hurdles is having the companies work together to all do something for the good of everybody.
And it's slowly happening. I mean, I think the way I look at it is, you know, one of the kind of communication concepts is if this, then that, right? Which is really, you know, if I want to set up scenes or modes in my living, so I come home and I want certain things to happen, right? It's kind of a 1 + 1 = 3.
Right.
I think it's got to get to like 1 + 1 = 10. I mean, those devices start working together to make our life better.
Yep.
And maybe they elevate our well-being and deliver us to live at a higher capacity.
Yeah, and
That's
utopia.
my hope.
Oh, I love it. It sounds like utopia to me.
We'll get there. Maybe next week.
Maybe next. Also, real quick side note: the first movable wall, Murphy beds.
Correct.
Do you remember Murphy beds?
You know, so much
hid
of this
away.
is literally back to the future. Food used to be delivered to our house. Think about that. We used to live in smaller spaces.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we had Murphy bed. Now, Murphy didn't get a patent.
Oh, I know. I just called him Murphy bed.
He died penniless.
Oh, that's a sad story.
Sorry.
That's how we're going to end
Let's
this.
bring it back up. So,
Utopia again, utopia.
Yeah, well-being.
Well-being. I'm sorry I brought up Murphy bed.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for being here, man. Have a good rest of your show.
Appreciate it. Thank you.